is new to the, let's call it, local business marketing world? Who's fairly new? I'm not saying you just hatched out of the egg. I'm just saying you're fairly new. You're trying to figure it out. You're getting going. You're wondering, this and that. Not many people. Okay, we have a few. We have a few, and there's nothing wrong. Look, all of us were new at one point, right? James, Greg. Well, listen, I applaud you guys. When you figure this out, and you will figure this out eventually, and hopefully I can help you do that. When you figure this out, it's gonna absolutely change your life. Absolutely. I was literally killing myself working. It doesn't help that I have what would you call it, a chronic health issue, which is not going to kill me. It just slows me down. But with the commute and the stress and then you get into the bad nutrition, and you're not exercising, and you're unhappy because you're just shoveling one pile of whatever from point A to point B. Sometimes it feels like that. It's really tough. It's hard on your body, and it's soul crushing. So when you good for you new guys. I really, 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 I'm glad you're here, and I hope you pay attention to me, because I'm going to save you a massive amount of time. And when you do put all this stuff together, it's just going to rock your world, and it's going to absolutely change everything for you. I remember, I'm tell you one more story and then we'll get going, because I'm looking at the attendee number, and the number is still going up. And this training right here is so valuable. I don't want anybody to miss it in real time. But I remember back in 2007, the first, it was $3 and something. I think it was $3.48. I was an affiliate with Amazon, and building websites and selling electronics on websites, or trying to sell electronics on websites. And I just looked at my Amazon account one day. I was checking it obsessively just to see if there was any money there, right? And bam, somebody bought something, and bam, I had a commission. And I'm thinking, holy smoke, this stuff actually does work. That was like the little snowflake at the top of a giant mountain that starts rolling down and eventually turns into an avalanche. And when you sell your first customer, it's going to do the same thing for you. You're going to think, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was. And this is a lot of fun. And I've got a big fat check in my hand. Or maybe I've got a nice monthly commission coming in. And bam, you're off to the races. So let's get you there sooner rather than later. This is what today's webinar is going to be. I'm teaching you today my absolute favorite subject. I teach this about once a year. I don't really stress out about it on my lower ticket products. This is a free webinar, but I don't stress out about it on my lower ticket products, because so many people are so confused about this subject that I don't even want to fight the battle. But I do like to do a webinar once a year and try to straighten you out on the single most important thing that you have, the single most important tool, the single most important skill that exists for anybody wanting to do a local business marketing type business. And that is, check this out, Clients Now, how to use the phone. You know what that thing is, right? Your smartphone. It can do more than play Tetris on, right? How to use the phone to get high value clients faster and easier than you ever dreamed possible. And if I had the room, I would have squeezed onto the box and have a ton of fun doing it. Now, I know a lot of people are, what shall we say, phone phobic. Look, I've been a copywriter for a long time. I understand what you buy, why you buy it psychologically. I got the whole thing figured out, literally, okay? And how many sales letters have you read, like especially for things like scrapers or or just like new, offline or local, whatever you want to call it, local business marketing sales system. How many sales letters have you read where in the title or the subhead, or somewhere up at the top of the sales letter it says no cold calling required? Has anybody ever read something that said no cold calling required? Let me know. Yeah, sure. You know why veteran copywriters put that in there? Somebody want to take a shot at that? Kofi, amen. Thank you, buddy. Sure, they know we hate cold calling. This is like hating. Look, I understand. I got it. I'm not saying, well, hey, just like it and you're off to the races, because it ain't going to work like that. Believe me, it's not going to work like that. The thing about cold calling, we're going to get all into this on this webinar. There is actually some skills involved, and there are actually some skills that, unless you have been a professionally trained salesperson in the art of telephone sales, you probably never run into this. And this is what separates the people. This is what separates the people who can do cold calling well and actually enjoy it. I'm one of those people. And then the rest of humanity, which is sitting there when you mention cold calling, they, curl up in the fetal position and start sucking their thumbs, right? And it's really sad, because I'm not joking. If you can learn how to use that phone to prospect and to create appointments, you're going to build this business so fast, it's going to be crazy. And not only that, but it has a ton of other benefits. Who here would like to get as many clients as you want whenever you want? And I'm not joking with that. I'm not joking about it. Steve says you can also do it well, but not particularly enjoy it. Steve, I might be slightly in that camp, because I'm actually a serious introvert. I actually am. And so I have to go find Lee's alter ego when I cold call, but that's okay. I'm also old enough to know that sometimes you just got to man up and do it, right? Hang on, Elon. Yeah, excuse me, Elon. I'm reading this. This is going to be important. Hey, Ron, how are you? Ron Williams from Montreal. Bonjour. Elon says it's perfect for me. I've spoken to 60 companies, walk-in and via phone this month and last month. I am doing wrong. I love talking to people, but no sell. Elon, I agree with everything you said except for the part where you said I am doing wrong, because just because you have the, whatever you want to call it, guts, okay, to walk into companies and talk to them, that puts you're 97% ahead of where everybody else is who's new, because you were one of the new people. So I want you to pay close attention, Elon. I'm going to straighten you out on that. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I understand, buddy. I used to, in a previous business, which I was in, because you and I've talked about it. I used to make 200 outbound cold calls while I was sitting there eating my muffin for breakfast every freaking day, and it worked. Did I wake up in the morning every day saying I can't wait to get to that phone? No, hell no. This is back before smartphones. This is like I actually had, I'm not so old that I had to dial it, but I actually had to, press the buttons, like that. But no, absolutely. But so who here wants a bunch of clients and you want what should I say? You want the ability to wake up and say, I'm going to need some more clients this month. And then 2 days later, you're going to have that problem solved. Who wants it like that? Yeah. Now, check this next one out, because a lot of people don't think about this next item when they think about the one that my cursor is on. A lot of people don't think about this next item when they think about cold calling. Who wants to build a laser targeted email list? I'm talking about of extremely high value prospects. The kind of email list where you don't need but a few hundred and you're pretty much done for the rest of the year. Who would like to build an email list like that? Because if you had that, it's kind of like you would be in the position of, gee, I can't screw this up, right? And you couldn't. Did you know that learning how to cold call will lead to building that list? Has anybody on this call besides me connected these two things? A buyer's net. Oh, amen, James. Amen. How would you like to have clients actually calling you? Pre-sold. Done. We're done. All you're doing is an order taker. It's just like me calling Domino's and saying I want a large pizza with, extra cheese and pepperoni. Sure. And then we're going to avoid that big trap that sinks virtually everyone, but it's not going to sink you guys. And we're going to avoid that big trap on the free webinar, all right? This is the God's honest truth. You see that bad boy there? That thing? That is your ticket to big money whenever you want it. I'm not joking. The ability to do this stuff. Yes, James, they do have the money when they call because that's how they got on the list. That's a great question. The ability to command your business like this, it's worth a lot of money to you, and it's going to relieve a lot of stress, and it's going to keep you from flailing around not selling people stuff. Here are three honest to God truths. And guys, I just mentioned that I was having a conversation with Steve about another aspect of businesses that I do. I have been cold calling people since, what, mid-80s? Yeah, mid-80s, mid-90s, O's, teens. Wow, that's like 35 years of cold calling. Yes, Elon, I'm that old, right? Almost, Craig. You put these two things together, the 5-minute sales system is what you would do after you cold call, get the prospect, or after you put them on your list and they raise their hand and say, yes, I'm ready to go, or you talk to them and say, yeah, I'm interested in that. At that point, the 5-minute sales system takes over. Okay, so guys, what Chris is talking about is my previous coaching class. I've done 3 coaching classes this year, and basically what I'm trying to do, and I will have done this by the time I'm done here. Ron beat me. Ron started in 1975. There you go. 62. We're the same age. Yeah, Ron is what my daddy used to call an old trout. Absolutely. But getting back to the 5-minute sales system. Basically, this year I wanted to create the training necessary that I could tie it together and say, do this first, do that first, do that next, do that next, do that next. And if you will actually do it, you got a business, and then, create a coaching thing around that to help you guys. This is the last bit that I got to get together, because honestly, if you don't know how to use the phone, it's going to be really hard. Not impossible, but really hard. And if you do know how to use the phone, it's going to be pretty easy. You can build it, like I said, you can build a massive list of warm leads, not cold leads. Cold leads would be you used a scraper. Well, those aren't even leads. These are just email addresses, right? Put a bunch of email addresses on a autoresponder and start emailing them. Let's say a slightly warmer lead would be if you could, and you can easily segment off the people who clicked on a link and did something, but they've never talked to you, right? Craig, absolutely, buddy. I'm here for you. Remember I told y'all at the end of the thing that I'm not hung up on time, okay? Yeah, so we are all good on that. So if somebody clicks on something, that's a little warmer lead, but I'm talking about a super warm lead. A super warm lead, Elon, let me use your name just to have somebody to talk about. A super warm lead is somebody who's knows of Elon, has already spoken to Elon, has a really pretty good impression, as far as they have a good impression of the information that they know of Elon, And as soon as they're ready to pull the trigger on this thing, there's a good chance they're going to call Elon. They may call a few other people just because out of thoroughness, but there's a good chance they're going to call Elon. Hang on, David. Great question. Yeah, I got it. Let's leave that for Q&A at the end. It's a great question. But do you guys understand that level of warmness? If you had a list of those people, I mean, it's just like freaking ball game is over. I mean, literally, it's just like, I mean, that's crazy. You're just going to be intelligently hitting them up with emails, and they're going to be falling out of the bottom with, gold bricks in their hands, right? And there's a third benefit. If you know how to use the phone to prospect for business, in other words, to find leads, the actual selling part, okay? So it doesn't matter if you sell in person or you're doing a Skype, thing, or you're doing, I like to use Zoom, where we can see each other. Well, you can see each other on Skype. It's just Skype's a little buggy sometimes. But that thing, where you're actually doing the sales presentation, that's going to be super easy to you. The actual doing of it, okay? Your posture as you do that is going to be a posture of professionalism. Most people, as in 95% of them, and we just proved this on this webinar when I asked you this question, avoid phone prospecting and phone selling like the plague. Why? You have misconceptions, okay? Just plain old fear, okay? I got that. I understand. There's the fear of rejection, fear of success, and all that stuff. That can be dealt with just by actually doing it. It will go away. I think really it's really that you're carrying around in your head some massively destructive misconceptions about this. Most people believe that potential buyers, your potential customers, resent receiving sales marketing calls. Do you believe that? Do you believe that most people that you call are going to resent you calling them, like 90% of them? Yeah, Steve knows the answer. No, this has literally been proven false in so many ways. David says a certain percentage, but it's a fairly low percentage. And those, grumpy people, we can just, politely say, thank you very much and hang up and call the next person, right? These are just some graphics that I cribbed from a company named the Rain Group. They did this massive survey about cold prospecting, about cold email prospecting. 69% of buyers accepted a call from new salespeople in the past 12 months. Like 70% of them, you call from new salespeople. That's a cold call, right? 70% of them ended up talking to a new salesperson that comes into their world on the phone, 70%. So like I call 10 people, eventually I'm going to get to talk to 7 of them on average. I know Craig. Craig says I'm getting fancy with the graphics. Well, look, and Craig's been on webinars with me before. I've got this PowerPoint. Usually I just sit down and write down stuff because I'm so much better when I'm not PowerPoint, this PDF, excuse me. I'm so much better when I'm not using a PowerPoint. But I decided to just throw in some proof here. Potential buyers accept calls from salespeople and actually talk to them. Does anybody have any idea why a potential buyer might do that? Why would somebody actually accept your call and talk to you? Come on, guys. I like a little participation. Well, I like a lot of participation, but okay, great, excellent, guys. They need the help. They need the help. If you're running a business or to learn something, absolutely, they have a need. Yeah, they got a problem. They're trying to see if maybe you're the person to fix it or to make it better. Check this out from Stuart Leung. I have no idea how to pronounce that. But SEO manager at Salesforce, Salesforce.com is a massive Silicon Valley type company that created the Salesforce software that a lot of medium to large size businesses use. A phone call will get someone's attention much quicker than an email, and you're able to customize your sales pitch. You can customize a ton more stuff than that, but you're able, and you're going to learn that on this webinar, but you're able to customize your sales pitch much quicker than email. What do you think most people do with email? They hit delete, 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 or they're just doing this. They just go scroll, 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 right? Pretty cool. Steve, I'm reading your comment. Yes, Steve, I have actually done that. Well, that's a bit of a pro tip. Okay, we'll save that to later, not to get people confused. But anyway, according to Salesforce, a phone prospecting call will get more attention quicker than an email. And look, 70% of people. Now look, guys, don't go making 10 calls and then you only got to talk to 3 people and say, but Lee told me that I would be able to talk to 7 people and this didn't work. Don't do that, okay? You can tell by my voice what I thought of that. But anyway, check this out. Sales emails are irrelevant. 60% of buyers think the sales emails they receive are irrelevant. Gee, I wonder why. Because they actually are, right? They're just going into the inbox and you're sitting there looking at them and saying, big whoop, I don't need that, I lost 4 nanoseconds deciding whether I needed that, but I don't need that, yeah. So, what's this? Ouch and damn. Buyers think sales emails are crap, and they actually will talk to you on the phone, buyers. We might have to start changing our opinions about phone marketing. And literally, when I look for statistics, I just know from my life, literally, other than Ron, who started calling people when he was 2 years old. Ron, I'm just joking with you, buddy. But other than Ron, I've been calling people for a very, very, very long time. And, I know the truth. But, it's one thing for me to tell you something and another thing for really reputable companies to have come to the same conclusion. Tons more statistics. Your potential customers, the ones with problems that your service can address, not the ones who are never going to be interested in you, not the ones who don't need you right now, but they might need you three years from now. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that you can sell today or this week, whatever. Your potential customers actually want you to call them. They want to hear from you. I can't tell you how many calls I've made. And after I got to know the person, not necessarily on that call, but, sold them something, got to know that person. And this has happened so many times when they will basically say, Lee, thank God you called. I really needed this issue dealt with, whatever it was. And I had no idea who to talk to about it. And, I just didn't know where to turn. And there you were. And, a lot of them say, it was a miracle. And I feel like saying, no, it's Lee. Because Lee dials the phone a lot, right? But seriously, they're waiting for you to call them. They want to hear from you because they have a problem that needs your solution. Guys, there are people out there right now waiting for you. There are 1 million businesses in the United States alone, over 1 million. Something like that, some vastly huge number, okay? But there are over 1 million real estate agents, some of them who are great prospects for a lot of you for certain things, right? Awesome, buddy. Ron started calling people when he was 18 years old. That is so cool. But there are hundreds of thousands, millions of businesses out there with all these problems, and they're literally waiting for the salesperson to just ride up on the, in their shining armor on the white horse and say, yeah, that problem, yeah, I know how to fix that. Yeah. Or my company has a solution, or I help businesses with this all the time. You know, David says there's so many cubicle marketers that call us and make us look bad. What do you think? You know, I get robocalls to my phone all the time. I basically, unless your name appears on the phone, in other words, I already know you, I'm not answering it because it's all crap. We're talking about business to business calls though. And, you know, whether you call up and hit the secretary or the, God forbid, the gatekeeper. By the way, guys, if you've ever heard me rant about gatekeepers, then you know exactly what I think about them, that is a big fat myth. But you know, you hit somebody in the business, and you know, they're even of moderate intelligence, like, you know, they can manage to get up and get dressed in the morning, kind of intelligence, right? They're there to work. They're trying to do their job, and here, especially if you do it my way, here somebody calls up and they're thinking, yeah, you know, I heard my boss talking to somebody else about this. This is something we might need. You know, it's different than, I love that cubicle marketer. I don't think cubicle marketers make any difference at all, especially when you learn how I do it. Okay, so, and fear. So now everybody on this call is already grabbing your phone, Googling a business and a location, and, you know, thinking about, you know, like, I don't know, chiropractors, Des Moines, Iowa. And you're already dialing the phone, aren't you? You're already dialing the phone. No, it's Sunday. Well, David, you know what? That kind of blows that little comment there, doesn't it? Good for you. Well, let's pretend it was Monday through Friday. It's actually Monday in Australia. Do I have any people from Oz on this call? I have many people that buy my stuff from Australia and New Zealand. So it's Monday there. I don't know what time it is there, but yeah. No. Way, that's great. When I ring prospects nowadays, the knockback is send me an email of your stuff. That's actually what I want to happen. Okay, it's just that you may not be doing a couple of little things. Okay, don't worry, David. I have a wife and a daughter who do the same thing for me. Okay, guys, here's the answer. Way is in Sydney. It's 7:30 a.m. and it is indeed Monday because Way is across the international date line. But anyway, you know, literally a lot of people. Now I'm getting great comments on here, so I'm thinking maybe you guys are like, some of you guys think, man, this is pretty cool. I've been wanting to know how to do this, or I might have been doing it a little bit. And some of you newer people are thinking, oh, so this really is how the pros do this stuff. Ah, I got it. You know, so maybe this next statement's not totally true, but it's true like for your average person. Most people would rather have their back teeth pulled out with pliers than prospect for business by the phone. That's a lot of people. Craig, so let's say I call a plumber with a bad reputation, tell them I see that they have some bad reviews online. My company helps plumbers with this problem all the time, and ask if I can send them some information. I send them the PDF from the 5-minute sales system. Bam, they call me back and I make a sale. Amen. Thank you, Craig. You can now exit the webinar and go look at football or whatever's happening, and you're done. I'm just kidding, because there's a lot of honestly, guys, selling on the phone does actually take a little more skill. This is hard to believe, but selling on the phone, by selling on the phone, I mean calling someone up as a cold call or calling someone up as a warm call and getting an appointment. They're just some little dealies that are going to make selling on the phone just so much easier for you and going to massively up your conversion rate. But Craig's about got it. Yeah. Yep. The antidote to being scared, by the way, if you're thinking cold calling, gulp, the antidote to that is training, as it is with a lot of things, right? I mean, if you actually do know what you're doing. I'm not saying it's always going to be pleasurable. I'm not saying you jump out of bed in the morning saying, I can't wait to hit the phone. If you made a sale 2 days ago for, you know, several $1,000s, you're probably jumping out of bed in the morning saying, I can't wait to hit the phone, right? But yeah, I mean, it can be a little bit stressful, but I mean, you know, this is life. It's work. You're building a business. I mean, if it was like totally easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. Done right, phone prospecting isn't scary at all. It's actually exciting and fun. It gets, like I said, it gets especially fun when you start making appointments and closing deals. You know, on a good day. So, you know, not on the best days, but on an averagely good day, I can get on the phone and just a few hours later have at least one good appointment for a sales presentation. I can also have several potential customers' information to put on my list. And I'm talking about serious, warm potential buyers. That's a lot of stuff for a few hours work. Excuse me. Potential benefits to learning how to use the phone. It's going to make the rest of selling very, very easy. Be able to build a huge list fast. You can work less and make more, and the actual sales presentation itself is going to make this a breeze. So now, I think I've laid out my case. I hope I have, that this is something you need to pay very close attention to, and this is something you actually do need to learn. I believe I've made that case pretty successfully, judging from the comments. So let's talk about the stuff that makes phone calling actually work. And I'm talking about both a cold call, okay? So let's say you sell Google My Business stuff, and let's say that you generally deal with small attorney firms, you know. So you call that office with, you know, 5 attorneys, a couple of secretaries. Granted, you're talking to a secretary. I mean, the attorney's probably not going to answer the phone, right? That kind of scenario. Insider secrets that will make that actually work a lot better. This is huge, massively huge. My dad actually taught me this. My dad, when I was a little kid in elementary school, owned a carpet company, and the actual retail storefront was not really the business. I mean, it was the business. People walked in and bought carpet. It's back in the 60s when wall-to-wall carpet, you know, got really popular, or started to be popular. So people actually did, you know, they would walk in, but that wasn't the deal. The deal in that business was the phone room in the back, right? And back then, I mean, you actually, this is before touch-tone phones, you actually were dialing the phone, and the phone room in the back was full of all these people cramped in there, calling, and guess what they were doing? They were reading from a script. Nobody well, okay. Amateurs cold call without a script. Now, not just cold calling. Let's say you sold somebody something. Let's say I sold somebody, like a Google My Business, you know, optimization ranking package or something like that. And let's say I've got another thing I want to sell. I'm just free-forming here. Craig, I think you had mentioned rep management. So let's say, you know, I've checked out their online reputation. They got some issues, right? And I want to, you know, I want to talk to them about adding this on, adding my rep management to whatever I'm doing, adding that on to the Google thing. Well, so, and let's say they bought the Google My Business thing from me, all that stuff, about a week ago. So we've had some time for them to actually log on, see how beautiful it looks now, and you know, we're doing all these citations and stuff to make it rank better and all that stuff. Now, what about me calling them back and hitting them up for another, whatever Craig sells this for? How about that call? No, that's not really a cold call, it's a warm call. Absolutely must be done from a script. You're screwing up if you're not using a script. A script is exactly what you think it is. It's a piece of paper with the words that you're going to say and not deviate from. True story. One of the ways I worked my way through college was selling Time Life books. Anybody remember all the Time Life subscription books and stuff? And I worked in a phone room, right? I mean, I would work for a few hours after school, worked in a phone room, and I think there was an ad in the paper or something, and I answered that, or maybe it was on the job board at school. I can't remember. But anyway, I go over there and I talk to the manager of the phone room, and he hands me a piece of paper and he said, "Here's the script. This is all you do. You dial the phone, you read the script. You got it?" And I say, "Yeah, I got it." I mean, I was just a kid, right? I said, "I got it." So I don't say anything beyond the script. I don't sit there and try to convince them to buy the Time Life books. This guy, I thought he was going to throw me out the window. He got so mad. He literally grabs that piece of paper and wads it up as he's grabbed it from me. He throws it to the side. He leans back in his chair, right? This guy was intimidating as all get out. He leans back in his chair, and it's kind of like, Rocky Balboa saying, come on, hit me, with something like that. He leans back in his chair and he says, "Okay, all right." And he picks up a book and he says, "Sell me that book." And I'm sitting there in total shock, saying, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." And so he has a whole stack of these scripts, right? He gets out the script, he puts it in my hands again, and he says, "That's my point. Don't deviate from the script." And so, guys, if you work from a script, guess what you need before you start actually calling people? This is not a hard question. A script. Yeah. There's a fair amount of know-how in that script. Okay. So there are several ways to do cold calling. You can either cold call and you're going for getting an appointment to talk to them about the thing that you're selling right now on the call, which is perfectly fine to do. Or you're going for the cold call, more of a list building method, which is another great thing to do. Wei, I'm going to go back to your question. Yeah, so Wei, this is kind of like for you. So I'm going to give you I'm not sitting here reading the script, but I'm going to give you an approximate script for somebody who's calling. You want to build a database of people who are interested. You want the name of the person in the business that you're going to talk to. I hope y'all are writing this down. The name of the business that you're going to talk, person you're going to talk to. You want their phone number. You want their email address. Okay. So, and you've got something to give them. You've got something about your business. Craig's got something about his rep management thingamabob, right? So you ring them up, ring, person answers, "Hello, this is XYZ company." And you say the following. You say, "Hi, I'm Lee Cole." Use your name. Okay. "Hi, I'm Lee Cole, and not trying to sell you anything today." Okay. God, I just dropped one of the biggest pro hints ever. "Not trying to sell you anything today, but I run a business that can help businesses like yours with their online reputation. And again, I'm not trying to sell you anything today. Would you mind if I sent you a little information about what I do and what it might do for your company?" Now that's pretty standard so far, right? I mean, y'all could figure that out. I mean, y'all could figure out all this stuff, but that's pretty standard. We're doing pretty good, right? Check this next part out. Look, guys, no one answering the phone says no. "No, you can't send us that information. Get the hell off the phone." I've literally never had that happen. It doesn't mean that they're all going to buy. It just means that they're either going to buy or it's just easier just to nod up and down and be polite and hope that I go away, right? That doesn't matter. That all gets filtered out in the funnel. We'll talk about the funnel in a minute. So ring. They answer. XYZ company, say, "Hi, this is Lee Cole. I'm not trying to sell you anything today, but I help businesses like yours with their online reputation. And again, I'm not trying to sell you anything today, but would you mind if I sent you some information about me and what I do? And, maybe it'll help you guys out. And, if you're interested, you can give me a call. Would you mind if I did that?" Everybody's going to say yes. Now, check this out. Who should I send it to? Uh-oh, I'm going to get a name. They're not going to say send it to the office. I've literally never had that happen. Everybody says, Karen takes care of our marketing. Karen Williams. I'm just free-forming here, giving this person a name so I can talk about them. Karen takes care of our marketing. Why don't you send it to her? Cool. why don't I just go ahead and email it to her? And what would be Karen's email address? The one she actually checks. Uh-oh, I'm about to get something besides the corporate email on the website that never gets looked at except once a month to clean out, right? I'm going to get Karen's real email. Cool. And so then you say, well, great. If you see Karen today, just tell her that I called and that I'm going to shoot this over to her. And, you know, if she's interested, just give me a call back. I'd be very happy to talk to her about what I can do for your business. Thank you so much for your time. You have a great day. Anybody else hear anything else going on there while I was doing all that you're like, oh, wow, is that how you do that, huh? No selling. Oh, David, I was selling the hell out of that, but it doesn't sound like selling, does it? Yeah. Check this out. Okay, let's ring, ring, ring again. Listen to my voice. Okay. I'm going to read this sentence to you, okay? I'm going to read this sentence to you in Lee's normal speaking voice, okay? Listen very closely. You're listening for the sound. Don't worry about the words. You're listening for the sound. There actually are some insider secrets to phone prospecting. This is the stuff that pros do that makes phone prospecting actually very, very easy and fun. That is Lee's normal speaking voice when he's sitting here reading stuff. Now let's hear Lee's voice when he's calling. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, XYZ Company. Hi, my name's Lee Cole. I'm not trying to sell you anything today, but I run a company that helps businesses like yours with reputation management. Would it be okay if I sent y'all a little information about my company? You know, if I can help you, I'd love to help you out. What was the big difference between those two? It's the same guy. I didn't change people. What was, name me some differences between those two things, the sounds of those two things. The first one was, when I read that, there actually are some insider secrets. That thing was better. Yeah, it was better for reading. But name me some stuff that you heard. Okay, you're listening for intonation. You're listening for, it's not going to come off as desperate, Craig. That could be because I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm reading this thing. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the clock. I'm on a webinar. I'm a little scattered. Okay. Intonation. Let's see how I can explain this. Okay, listen to this. You're walked out of a hotel, and let's say a valet parked your car, all right? And somebody walks up to you and says, I'm going to need your key. Just go with me, or they probably already have the damn key, but just go with me, or listen to the tone. I'm going to need your key. Somebody else walks up to you and says, I'm going to need your key. Now, in our language, English, language that we're currently speaking, tell me the difference between those two, because there's massive differences between those two things. Kofi, thank you so much. The second one was friendlier. And the second one was, okay, which one was more of a command? I'm going to need your key. Compared to, I'm going to need your key. Yeah, Elon, the second one was nicer. The second one was less threatening. The first one was more of a command. You know, if somebody walked up to you and they were policemen, you know, please don't, but let's say you're driving around drunk. Okay, bad idea, but say, I'm going to need your key. Give them your key or else you're going to end up in jail, right? Well, you're going to end up in jail anyway, but you're going to end up in jail on more than just a drunk driving charge, right? That's a command. Some nice valet, you know, you know, those guys that run up and down, they're in great shape, and they're part of the hotel. They're there to please the customers. They run up to you. They're very happy, or maybe it's a girl. I'm going to need your key, right? The threatening. I'm talking about the threat in the first one that's not in the second one. I'm talking about the command in the first one that's not in the second one. I'm talking about the friendliness that's in the second one that's not in the first one. I'm talking about the, how should we say this? The familiarity, that's the friendliness in the second one that's not in the first one. Now let's go back to me calling the XYZ company. Ring, 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 ring. XYZ company. Hi, my name's Lee Cole. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything today, but I help businesses just like yours with their online reputation. And I was wondering if you would mind if I sent you some information about my business. Would that be okay? Oh, Steve, I understand. And we if we had time, on this particular webinar, we would get all into that. Steve says you can be friendly and commanding. Yes, I understand. Now, you remember the little thing about the valet? Did you hear me do all that stuff with my voice when I was calling the XYZ company? Yes, no, maybe. On the last call to the XYZ company, did you hear me do all that stuff? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Forget the words. Which one's friendlier? Da 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 da. Or da 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 da. Da 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 da. Tell me, which one's friendlier? Which one's less threatening? Which one makes you feel, you're not, believe me, but which one makes you feel like you're in the driver's seat? I'm in command of this deal. Da, 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 da. No, not you, the speaker. Okay, the person listening, the person hearing. Which one makes the person receiving the call feel like they're not? Feel like they're probably in the driver's seat. Da 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 da, or da 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 da. Yeah, the da 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 da. You know, it's light, it's pleasant. It's somewhat ephemeral. It's a nice person. Oh, I don't want to hurt the nice person's feeling. Of course, I'll let them send that. Okay. This is all, it's in David. There's a ton of other stuff in there, a ton of other stuff. I mean, the speed, I'm not going to do it again because we've been on here nearly an hour, which is totally fine. I just got a couple other things to talk to you about. But the speed, did you hear me when I was doing the practice call? Did you hear my speed vary? Did anybody catch that part? When I asked the recipient of the call, would you mind if I sent you, and then I slowed down? Steve, we'll get to that in a sec. That's a great one. Would you mind if I sent you, and see, if you could look at my face, I'm sitting here frowning a little bit, not in a bad way, but I am really a seriously nice, helpful guy. My face says it all. Would you mind if I sent you a little stuff about my business? You know, could potentially help you guys, and you know, be happy to send it on over to you. Would you mind if I did that? So, Jamil, amen, brother. You just answered my question on how to get the business owner's name and email. Yep, you're going to get the person's name and email who's going to make the decision. Wouldn't that be cool, guys, if you had, it's not going to take a big one, but wouldn't that be cool, guys, if you had a database of 500 business decision makers, real phone number, real email, real name, and all that stuff to market to? Wouldn't that be amazing? If you made 50 calls a day, do you know how long it would take you to get that 500? It's probably can do this in a month. Yeah, guys, this stuff excites the daylights out of me. I can literally, I feel like jumping up and down. Are you excited about this? I'm excited about this, and I've just literally scratched the surface. Steve says smiling a lot when you talk helps. Yeah, pro tip, guys. Pro tip. Get one of those little mirrors, one of those little round mirrors. This is real. This is real. Okay. This is how they do it. This is how pros do it. Get one of those little mirrors, put it on your desk, wherever you sit and do your calling. Put it on your desk, point it at your mouth, not at your eyes. Point it at your mouth. I don't know if you can hear this because let's see if you can hear when I'm smiling. Okay. There actually are some insider secrets to phone prospecting. This is the stuff that the pros do that makes phone prospecting actually very, very easy and fun. Number one, there actually are some insider secrets to phone prospecting. This is the stuff that the pros do that actually makes phone prospecting actually very, very easy and fun. Besides the fact that I apparently can't read. Number two, I was smiling in number two. Trust. Jamil, are you on my team? Because if you are, then you need to reach out to me about that very thing that you just talked about. And I'll get you remarkably straightened out about that. But guys, who do you trust more? Just naturally, just naturally. I'm not saying you're going to give them the keys to your, house or anything. I'm just saying in general. Somebody walks up to you, they're all friendly. Or who do you like more? Somebody walks up to you, two strangers. Neither one of them scary. Let's say they're both, just like normal human beings. You're not in a scary place. You're out in the open. It's a restaurant or something. Two people walk up to you. One of them's all frowny and the other one's smiling. Who do you like more? Just you can't help it. Yeah, the person that sounds happy, the person with the smile. Who do you want to do business with? Somebody who's a grumpy butthole? Or do you want to do business with somebody who's happy? But even more importantly, guys, even more importantly, check this out. Who are you probably going to start to trust? Who are you probably going to start to trust? The smiley person or the frowny person? Yeah, amen. Now, you got to work from a script. The script has to be written in a certain way, which honestly, I'm not really running out of time yet, but I'm cognizant of your time, okay? But you must learn how to use your voice to make the other party feel at ease, to make them trust you. There's a ton more going on here. It's called matching, okay? You must learn to do things like what we call matching. And you must have a phone prospecting funnel in place. In other words, when you get the lead, and that's going to be either, yes, yeah, sure, yeah, Karen is the person, Karen Williams, yeah, she's the person that handles all the marketing. Yeah, send it to her. What's her email address? Cool. And do you think, okay, guys, I forgot to tell you this. This is like an extra pro tip. All right, so after you get Karen's email address, okay. Do you think Karen would mind if I called her up 2 or 3 days after I sent this, just to make sure she didn't have any questions about it? Uh-oh, Lee's about to get Karen's direct number. Whoa. That's cool, Jamil. That's cool. I'm sure we'll hit this on a training at some point. So you got to have a funnel in place, because you've got to know what to do with the lead. I mean, if somebody says, yeah, actually, could you stay on the phone a couple more minutes with me? Because I got we've been looking for somebody to deal with this issue, and I got some questions about you, but I got somebody else on the phone. I got to get rid of them first. I have that happen a lot. Okay. In other words, you can get an appointment right now. James, it's recorded. It'll be on YouTube. Okay, hit me up, and I'll be happy to send it to you, or send you the link. Kind of lost my train of thought. Yes, prospecting funnel. You can get an appointment right now. You will get appointments, guys, like right now, without a lot of who shot John. And let's say somebody says, well, send it to Karen. Here's her email address. Would you mind? Do you think Karen would mind if I called her up just to make sure she didn't have any questions? 3 or 4 days after I send this over. No, she's not going to mind. Would it be the same phone number, or does she have a direct line or extension? Here, blah, it's blah, 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 blah. Cool. Well, cool beans. If you see Karen, tell her I'm going to send it right over. And thank you very much. You have a wonderful day. I appreciate the help. Bam. Now I've got somebody who's a warm potential lead. They're not really a lead yet, but they're a warm potential lead. But I got this, I can market to them now, right? So I need a place to put that. I need to know what comes next. Okay, matter of fact, you need it all figured out what comes next. Stuff like put Karen on an autoresponder, send it, you got a PDF, you're going to send it over. What do you write? When do you call Karen back? All that stuff. Got it? So bottom line, professionals work from scripts always. Professionals never wing any of this. The initial cold call. I'm calling you back to hit you up for an upsell, right? And there's a very specific way to do that that is so good and so will be so appreciated by the people that you call. It's just going to blow your mind. There's a very specific way of doing this. You got to know how to use your voice to make people feel at ease, to make them start to trust you, to make them actually like you. And I think that should be then instead of they, but this is a PDF. I'll change it in the original thing, and then know what to do with the lead once you get it. So here's the deal. Who's excited about this? I know a bunch of you are because you've told me that. I'm starting a new class in January. This is going to be the 4th class. I mean, I'm doing the webinar in 2019. We're kicking this off in January, and I call it Clients Now. Now, we're going to have some Q&A, okay, in just a minute. So hold the phone, haha, no pun intended, and we'll get to some Q&A. Let me just pop this in the chat. So Clients Now, this phone selling training really completes what I wanted to do this year in terms of creating complete training for how to start and grow one of these businesses. And I'm not going to go over the previous trainings because a lot of you have had them. Thank you very much. But we've covered everything from business structure to how to do the actual sales presentation to getting you unconfused about what you're selling and all kinds of stuff. And the phone thing is like we take that little fire that we started and we're going to pour a ton of gasoline on top of it. That's what the phone thing's going to do. Get as many clients as you want when you want them. Build a huge list that will feed your business year after year. Get control of your business and your income. Would anybody like to actually have control of your business and your income? Work a lot less and make a lot more. I'm not going to read you this whole thing because y'all know me. You're very capable of figuring this out. A lot of you know my story. I quit my job in 2010. Although I've never really completed the story for a lot of people because I don't talk about phone prospecting too much. But the next day I got up in the morning, I literally Googled optometrists Atlanta. I was selling Google My Business stuff. Back then it was called Google Places. I started at the top of the list. I cold called, and it was about 9, 10, 11, or 12. I ran into this guy who literally said, yes, I've been trying to find somebody to help me with this. When can you come over? Craig, hang on to that. Hang on to that thought a minute. It's definitely special, considering what this stuff normally sells for. But yeah, so, I lied. I said, well, I'm pretty busy. I mean, this is literally the first 2 hours of me working for myself. Yeah, well, I'm pretty busy up through Friday. I'll tell you what, though, you sound like you really need this. I could juggle a couple of things this afternoon and come over around 4. Would that work? I went over there. I juggled. Haha. I went over there. I walked out of there with a big fat check in my hand, and that guy went on to pay me really several, I don't know exactly how much. It was about $1,000 a month for over a year. So we're talking about a ton of money. Cold call. One call. Okay, so it took me 9 calls to find him. Big freaking deal. That's what cold calling can do for you. Back then, I didn't have email scrapers. I didn't go to network meetings. I didn't use expensive direct mail because I was literally just getting going. Social media wasn't that big of a deal. David, there are 0 upsells to this. Okay, I did something no one teaches you to do, and that is use that bad boy right there. This thing, no joke. See, you have been walking around literally like it's like you have this giant stick of dynamite in your pocket. Don't anybody make a joke about that, but you had a giant stick of dynamite in your pocket, and financial dynamite, and you didn't even know it. You thought it was for calling your wife and asking her what you're going to buy at the store when you go to, when you go to the grocery store. You thought it was for keeping up with your kids or looking up when the movies were, playing Tetris. That's what you thought it was for. It is for that. This thing, this is all you need, guys. All you need. See that thing there? That's a phone. I'm just being kind of, you absolutely must learn this. Why people struggle, I've kind of gone over that, exactly what you will learn, okay? And I think we've gone over a lot of this here. That's, guys, I'm not going to read you, again, I'm not going to read you the sales letter. Amen. Here's the only question. Do you want to be successful in local marketing? Every now and then somebody finds me on YouTube or they buy one of my products and they're just so excited because I'm a little different, right? And they'll email me or they'll send a support ticket and they'll tell me a little bit about themselves. And every now and then somebody says, yeah, I have a background in direct sales, or I have a background in whatever, some kind of phone thing. I talked to a young lady who had a background in selling advertising in California via the phone. Those people, every single one of them, I know when they tell me that they're going to have 0 problems with this business. 0. Because all that other stuff that you thought was in your way, what do I sell and how do I sell and all this stuff. Yeah, sure. You got to figure that out. You got to sell something, right? And you got to know what you're going to sell, and you can't sell 5 things at one time, right? Think Craig just picked this up. Thank you so much, Craig. But the thing is, through no fault of your own. I mean, it's just that you hadn't learned this yet because nobody's ever really told you this yet, because nobody ever teaches this yet, because everybody assumes that you're not going to want to learn this and pay for it. But anyway, you buy all these things, you got them on your hard drive and all this software, and it's just like you've got the campfire, the giant roaring bonfire ready to go. You just don't have a match. This is the match. Okay, this is really true. This is really true. If you avoid selling using the phone, you're screwing up. I can just tell you that. That is absolutely true. Check out some more statistics. 82% of buyers accepted meetings when salespeople reached out to them initially by phone. 4 out of 5. Okay. We saw some other statistics. Business owners want to hear from you. I told you this story. I can literally sit down in my office chair at 9 a.m. and by lunch I can have at least 1 new client and some really hot emails. Okay. Here's what you can achieve. You can land 1 new client a day. Now you're not going to need 1 new client a day. That would actually be too many. Okay. Awesome, Steve. Thank you so much, buddy. Check this out. Now I'm going to explain to you how this will happen, because this is a big claim. You'll be able to 2 times, 3 times, or even 4 times your income, because I'm going to teach you how to do an upsell. How would you like to sell somebody on a $300 or so let's say let's just use lower number, smaller, a $200 a month service? And how would you like to be able to, a week later, to convert that person into an $800 to about a $1,500 a month client? And how would you like to be able to do that for about half of the clients that you talk to? Very, very, wouldn't say that it's easy, but it's not hard. There's a way to do this, and it's not going to happen if you don't know what you're doing with the phone. But check this out. If you four times your income every time you upsell somebody, and go with me on the math, guys. And if you upsell half the people, then basically what you've done, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, you have doubled your income for the same amount of prospecting, the same amount of work. So let's say you're trundling along and your business is building. It's not really where you want it to be. It's like 50, 60,000 a year. I mean, that's great. That's what most people call full-time income. It wouldn't work for me, but you want more. And so by doing one thing, you could turn that 50 into 100 or that 60 into a 120. Pretty cool. Clients are going to be pre-sold. You know why they're going to be pre-sold by the time they get to the sales appointment with you? Because of the intonation of your voice. It really is that simple. They're going to already like you. Close rates are going to skyrocket. And this to me, having done this stuff for years and years and years, this to me is the big one, okay? This is like what it all fits into. You're finally going to be in control of your income and your business. In other words, you can sit there and say, I don't really have quite enough business. What do I need to do? Now I have the skills to ramp it up. It's going to take about a month. Okay, it's going to take 2 weeks or whatever. I mean, according to how much more business you need to you need to do. Yeah. Introducing clients now, and we already talked about that. How to use the phone to get more high-value clients faster and easier than you ever dreamed possible. It's my new phone-based sales training. You're going to learn how to use this, specifically what we're going to cover. And we're going to cover more than this, but this is a list. How to use the phone for rapid prospecting. We're not going to spend all day on the phone, guys, okay? How to close even the most hostile of sellers on the phone, Skype, or Zoom. How to build your business at will. How to use your phone to upsell at least half your clients into major packages that could cost upwards of 10 times whatever they just bought from you. How to never, ever fear the phone again or fear selling people again. How to create a killer sales script for phone prospecting and phone selling. There is a very specific pattern for these things. Oh, and also they have to be amazingly short. Like, they have to be a lot shorter than you think they're going to be. That's a big problem a lot of people have when they get into this. They sit there and talk a blue streak, right? How to make your prospects love you just by using a pro level trick of your voice. And I showed you one of them. There's a couple other things that are really, really important. How to create instant rapport and trust with your prospective client. How to fill your sales funnel with more real prospects than you'll ever need. Who here would like to learn to prospect? Okay, we're headed into 2020. Craig, I'm going to pop, somebody's asking for the link to this. I'm going to pop the link into, I think I'm going to pop, here we go. And then into you and send it to all. We're headed into 2020. Who here would like to bust a gut in January? It's 1 month. Who would just like bust it out in January and then feed off of that February through December? It's entirely possible. In other words, just pedal to the metal for 1 month. And then for months after that, all you're doing is just feeding off of what you created. I don't know about you guys, but that floats my boat. How to spend only 1 week per month to get all the clients you need, or 1 month per year. This one's mega huge. This one seems like, yeah, Lee, I knew that and all that, but the deal here is it's not just the email list, it's what's on the email list. If all, I told you that, I use that example of Karen, okay, working at the company, the marketing manager. What if you had a list of a few hundred Karens and they knew you and they talked to you and they liked you, and maybe right now wasn't quite the time to buy because you sold the ones for whom it was the time to buy, right? But not only did you make a bunch of sales, but you ended up with this residual of this phenomenal email list of these Karens or Bills or Bobs or whatever the hell their names are. decision makers who know you. They're going to be doing stuff, because it happens to me all the time. They're going to be doing stuff like calling you when they have some sort of internet problem. I don't mean that IT stuff. I'm talking about, hey Lee, this is Bill. Hey Bill, how's it going, man? Doing really well. Well, listen, I don't know if you're the guy for this, but we're kind of deciding to get into like some, you know what we sell. Yeah, I know what you sell, but we're thinking Instagram might be a really good thing for us, and we want to get into some paid advertising on that. Do you know anybody that does that, or do you do that? You're going to get those calls all the time, guys. Why? Because you, my friends, are going to be the only real expert that they know, like, and trust, and whose phone number they have and who they've already talked to. And if you want to prospect for 6 months, maybe even a year if you're a little lazy, but if you want to just prospect for 6 months and then not prospect again for like a year or 2 or 3, you can do that too. $67, which is an insanely low price. I can do this because I do group coaching, all right? I mean, a ton of people are going to buy this. I know this. And that's how I get the money. That's how I justify the time, because I have to make X amount of dollars per, whatever, right? But also this is this group coaching model that a lot of you have done, some of you haven't. This is what allows me to bring really, really high level coaching to all of you guys. And if you've never been on a group coaching event with me, this does have a one-on-one component. It's not really speaking to me one-on-one, but you're going to have a specific way to get hold of me. You're going to have homework. Hello, somebody's got to write these scripts. I'm not going to write them for you because, that old adage, give a person a fish, feed them for a day, teach a person to fish, feed them for a lifetime. I want you to learn to fish, okay? But you're going to have homework, and we're talking about the cold call script. We're talking about the upsell script. We're talking about everything that you need. So that, let's say you made 2 sales last week, and you're sitting down and you're thinking, man, it's about time to upsell these people. You don't have to sit around and think about, God, what am I going to tell them? What am I going to say? Who are they? You pull out the paper, you set it up in front of you, you dial the phone, you read the script. Like in the old mafia movies, capiche? Do you guys capiche? In other words, do you understand? Webinar is going to be January the 8th, 15th, and 22nd. I should have put on there that they're 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. They will be recorded. They're going to be put in the members area. We're going to have homework. The homework's in the members area. Doesn't matter what you sell. You notice, guys, I'm not sitting here telling you to sell this, to sell thing A to, type of business B. That's valid stuff, but sales skill transcends all of that. I mean, literally, if you can sell, you can sell airplanes, you can sell shoes, you can sell, magazine subscriptions, you can sell insurance, you can sell real estate. The selling part is all the same. Once you learn how to sell, the product is just an add-on. The process is completely the same. Training. If you apply my clients now training, you're going to build your business blindingly fast. If you will do this, it's going to take off. Are you in? Steve, who's on this webinar, and Steve, you and I were, fabulous question, buddy. Hang on just a sec. You and I were talking about something a little earlier. And he said, when the assistant manager shared his script with me, my income literally went up tenfold in 1 month. The script's the deal, guys. I'll get to you in 1 second, but let's summarize. Clients Now is my new webinar-based training that shows you how to use the most powerful tool in the professional salesperson's arsenal. And I hate to tell you this, guys, you are a salesperson before you are anything else. Nobody ever told you that, and that's part of where the problem is. The phone. The phone is your most powerful tool by far. Email scrapers, nowhere near close. Direct mail, nowhere near close. Network meetings, I love them, nowhere near close. The phone. If you can master this, I read an article about a guy, I don't know this guy, I just read an article about a guy who built a multi-million-dollar business just sitting out on his back porch selling. He sold expensive wine to doctors. You know how he did it? On the phone. He sits out on his back deck, and he has a whole list of doctors that he buy, that, you know, names and numbers, and he calls them. Now, guys, guess who does not answer their phone? It is doctors, right? Multi-million-dollar business selling wine. Guys, this is the way businesses are built. This is my last course was called 5-Minute Sales System, and basically that is a very, very user-friendly, very powerful way of selling stuff that takes the burden of the selling off of you and basically puts it on to some assets that you learn how to create. So here's how these two things fit together. You're going to have to find some people to sell to, right? You're going to have to find some people that you can apply the 5-minute sales system to. This is how you do it. Okay, so phone prospecting, make appointments. So let's say you call a bunch of people, phone prospecting, you make an appointment with somebody, then what happens? Then the 5-minute sales system kicks in. See, with both of these things, you're going to be remarkably unstoppable. David, this is webinar-based training. So we're going to have a webinar much like this, except I'm going in deeper, okay? But this is, my goal with this particular free webinar was to introduce the concept, make sure that you understand that you absolutely need to learn to sell using the phone, but also give you some real stuff, which I think I did, okay? There's a lot more, and so we're going to break this down and go into it much deeper, but also, hang on, Dave. But also, so we do the webinar. It's a recorded webinar, and the recording goes in the members area. Every once in a blue moon, and this happened in 5-minute sales system, I'll be walking around, feel the need to bridge some kind of gap between webinar 1 and webinar 2, or webinar 2 and webinar 3. I try to be really, really thorough, but I'll just think, I didn't really explain that well, or I forgot to do that. Then I'll just cut a video and add that in. David, there's going to be ongoing training. I mean, excuse me, there's going to be, you said PDF, so you're going to have written homework, all right? So yes, it's not in there right now because we haven't had webinar 1 yet and you don't know what to do. But yes, there's written homework. David, my goal for you is not only for you to end up knowing how to do this, but for you to start doing it and for you to have everything in place that you need so that you can start building your business on your phone. So that's going to be a cold call script for what you sell, okay? A call back to get an appointment script. We need that script, right? And once you make the sell, an upsell script, okay? Now, exactly what we're talking about on those 3 scripts, David, depends on what you want to sell, right? I mean, whether you want to sell some sort of social media stuff or video stuff. But again, what you sell has nothing to do with it. The process is exactly the same. So all that's going to end up in there. Nothing's in there right now. It's because we hadn't had the first webinar. Hang on, Craig. I am putting this in there. Right there, same one. 67 bucks. Price is going to go up after this initial launch, and that's what I know, guys. I usually just every now and then I do, but I usually just tell people about stuff and figure that, okay, we're all adults here. You know whether you want to do this or not, and it's really not my place to say, hey, you should do this or you shouldn't do this, because that's not really my place, right? My place is to explain what the thing is, right? And then you decide. Guys, I'll tell you, hand on a stack of Bibles, you would be insane not to take me up on this. Insane, literally. Knowing this stuff is, I mean, it's just going to make the difference. It's going to put the power in your hands. You're going to get control. You're going to say, you're going to have that ability to say, hey, business is pretty good, but if I hired another assistant, I would free up a lot of my time. What am I going to do with that time? Aha, I can make more money. How am I going to get more prospects though? Oh, wait a minute. I know how to do that because of what Lee taught me. You can ramp up your business in just a few weeks. Just level up. For those of you who play video games, you can level up. My son plays video games, and I like to too a little bit. I'm laughably poor at doing it, but you can level up, right? Just by having a few weeks of calling, of prospecting on the phone, you can just freaking level up. You can. Craig, thank you so much for that. Craig says this is great stuff because it's evergreen and a skill I can use for life. Craig, thank you so much. That's 100% true. Some of this stuff, and I've told you all this in other webinars, some of the stuff I learned from my dad, literally when I was a kid, because my dad ran a business and it was a sales business. And I grew up around hearing guys around the supper table talk about pitches and closes and all that stuff. But some of it later on, a lot of it later on, I learned from some of the really great trainers out there in the 80s. A guy named Mike Ferry, he's still kicking around. He runs a business called the Mike Ferry Company, Ferry. He's a major real estate sales trainer. He was a huge influence on me, right? So, this stuff's evergreen. This isn't just an internet marketing dealie, what Craig said. This is a skill that you can take and put in your arsenal and will make you a massively better salesperson for the rest of your life. Guys, I got news for you. Salespeople are the ones who make the lion's share of the money, besides the owners, okay? But salespeople, your average everyday worker, the salespeople are the people out there killing it. Okay, so learn to be a salesperson. So cool beans, guys. Been on here an hour and a half. I really appreciate your time. I love you. I really do. I don't have a business without you. And I'm so excited, Elon and some others. I don't remember your names because a whole ton of them flashed by. The new people who've come into my world, I'm really excited to get to know you. And I'm really excited that you were on this webinar with me today so you could kind of get to know me and understand where I'm coming from, what I help people with, and how I'm pretty different from a lot of people that you run into. And I'm not saying anything wrong with them. They're doing great stuff. It's just that I'm the guy that actually teaches you the skills to make money out of it.